Take a look at your grocery receipt from yesterday. Look closely at the bottom line. Now close your eyes and try to remember what that same cart of food cost you 3 years ago. Take a look at your home insurance premium. It just went up 20%, didn't it? Take a look at the interest rate on your credit card. Do you feel it? That sinking feeling in your stomach. That quiet, gnawing panic when you sit at the kitchen table and realize the math simply does not add up anymore. You have done everything right. You worked hard for 40 years. You saved your money. You played by the rules. You trusted the system. But every single month, your pile of money buys a little bit less. You are running on a treadmill that is speeding up, and you are exhausted. The news anchors on TV tell you to relax. They tell you it is just a temporary rough patch. They blame the supply chains. They blame foreign wars. They blame the weather. They blame corporate greed. They look you in the eye and tell you the economy is strong and resilient. But I am here to tell you the truth that they are too afraid to speak. They are lying to you. Stop calling this a recession. A recession is a natural part of a business cycle. It is like winter following autumn. It is painful, but it is normal. Stop calling this a collapse. A collapse implies that something broke by accident, that some incompetent bureaucrat pushed the wrong button. What is happening to your bank account right now is not an accident. It is a demolition. It is a controlled, calculated, and deliberate transfer of wealth from the working class to the political elite. It is a robbery. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at the cold, hard history of empires. History is very clear about this. It does not matter if you look at the Roman Empire, the Spanish Empire, or the British Empire. Every great superpower follows a specific, predictable life cycle. It is called the empire cycle, and it has 7 stages. Stage 1 is sound money. The empire starts with gold or silver. The money is honest. The people are hardworking. Stage 2 is public works. The empire builds roads, bridges, and aqueducts. The economy booms. Stage 3 is greatness. The empire becomes the center of the world. Everyone is rich. Optimism is high. But then comes stage 4, the welfare and warfare state. The politicians get greedy. They want to fight wars they cannot afford. And they want to buy votes with free money programs they cannot fund. This leads to stage 5, currency debasement. This is where America has been for the last 50 years. To pay for the wars and the welfare, the government detaches the currency from gold. They start printing paper money out of thin air. At first, it feels good. It feels like a party. Stocks go up. Housing goes up. Everyone feels rich on paper. But the foundation is rotting. And that brings us to today. The year 2026 is approaching. The party is over. The bill has arrived. We are staring down the barrel of stage 6. Stage 6 is the crisis of faith. This is the moment when the public realizes that their money is not money. It is just paper. It is a confidence game, and the confidence is evaporating. Let me give you the data that proves we have entered stage 6. In the year 2020 alone, the Federal Reserve printed more than 20% of all US dollars that had ever been created in the history of the nation. Think about that for a second. It took 240 years to create a pile of money. And then, in just 12 months, they printed 20% more. Did your salary go up by 20% that year? Did your savings account grow by 20%? No. But the price of houses did. The stock market did. The assets of the ultra-rich did. This is an economic law called the Cantillon effect. It explains that when new money is printed, it does not get distributed equally. The people closest to the printer get the money first. Wall Street banks, defense contractors, and giant corporations get the fresh cash before inflation hits. They buy up the assets at the old prices. By the time that money trickles down to your paycheck, prices have already doubled. You are not imagining the inflation. You are the victim of a mathematical crime. You are working harder, but you are getting poorer, because your labor is being stolen through the currency. And the situation is getting critical. The interest on the US national debt has now exceeded $1 trillion per year. We are spending more on interest payments to bankers than we spend on our entire military. We are spending more on interest than we spend on roads, schools, or healthcare. We have entered a debt spiral. There is no way to pay this back mathematically. There are only two options left for the government. Option A: they declare bankruptcy. The system collapses instantly. ATM machines stop working, the lights go out. Option B: they print trillions more dollars to pay the debt. This causes hyperinflation. The dollar becomes worthless. Politicians will never choose option A. They will never admit failure. They will never choose a depression today if they can push it to tomorrow. So they will choose option B. They always choose option B. They will print and print and print until the dollar is destroyed. This means that if you are holding cash, you are holding a melting ice cube. The financial advisors on TV are still giving you advice for the year 1990. They are telling you to hold a 60-40 portfolio. 60% stocks, 40% bonds. They are telling you to stay the course. They tell you cash is safe. That advice is going to wipe out the middle class in stage 6. Bonds are debt. If the government inflates the debt away, your bonds become worthless. Cash is the victim. If they print trillions, your savings account becomes worthless. Look around you. Look at what the elites are actually doing, not what they are saying. The billionaires are not holding cash. Mark Zuckerberg is building a massive fortress in Hawaii with its own energy and food supply. Bill Gates has become the largest owner of farmland in America. The central banks of China, Russia, and even Europe are buying gold at the fastest pace in 50 years. Why? Why are the men who control the system dumping the system? Because they know what is coming in 2026. They are building their lifeboats. Meanwhile, they are telling you to stay on the Titanic and enjoy the music. They need you to stay in the dollar, because if you exit the dollar, their game stops working. They need your savings to pay for their deficit. They need your inflation to pay off their $35 trillion debt. You are not the customer. You are the liquidity. You are the meal. This video is your wake-up call. I am not here to scare you. I am here to hand you a blueprint. For the next 30 minutes, we are going to build the ultimate 2026 survival portfolio. We are going to ignore the noise. We are going to ignore the politics. We are going to focus on one thing only: survival. We will talk about the only form of money that has survived every empire collapse in history. We will talk about the assets that cannot be printed, cannot be hacked, and cannot be confiscated. We will discuss why your 401k is in danger and exactly how to protect it before the exit doors are locked. Most people will watch this happen and lose everything. They will wait for the government to save them. But you are not most people. You are watching Fiscal Folklore. You suspect that something is wrong, and you are right. The robbery is already in progress. The window of opportunity is closing. Let's inspect the weapon they are using against you and build your shield. Now that we have established the crime scene, let's begin building your defense. The first pillar of the 2026 survival portfolio is the most misunderstood asset in the world. It is not Bitcoin. It is not Nvidia stock. And it is definitely not US Treasury bonds. It is the only form of money that has survived for 5,000 years. Gold and silver. If you turn on CNBC or Bloomberg, the financial experts will tell you that gold is a pet rock. They mock it. They laugh at it. They tell you it pays no dividends. They tell you it is an archaic relic of the past. They tell you to put your money in the S&P 500 and stop worrying. But while they are mocking it on television, let's look at what the true masters of the universe are actually doing behind closed doors. Watch the hands, not the mouth. In the years 2023 and 2024, central banks around the world bought gold at the fastest pace in recorded history. The People's Bank of China is dumping the US dollar to buy tons of physical gold every single month. Russia has completely removed the dollar from its national wealth fund and replaced it with gold. Even Western nations are quietly repatriating their gold reserves. They are demanding their bars be flown back from vaults in New York and London to their own soil. Ask yourself a simple, logical question. If gold is a useless relic, Why are the most powerful institutions on Earth buying every single ounce they can find? Why are they driving the price to record highs while telling you not to buy it? Because they know the truth about Stage 6. They know that when the fiat currency system resets, the debt will be wiped out. And when the music stops, the only seat at the negotiation table belongs to the man holding the gold. Gold is not an investment. I need you to change your mindset right now. Do not think of gold as a way to get rich. Gold is insurance. It is fire insurance for your purchasing power. When the dollar collapses, the price of gold does not technically go up. 1 ounce of gold is always 1 ounce of gold. It buys the same amount of bread and oil that it bought in ancient Rome. What is happening is that the value of the dollar is going down. Gold is simply the constant. It is the thermometer that measures the fever of the dying currency. But here is the most critical part of your survival strategy, and this is where 90% of investors will fail. You must own physical metal. I repeat, you must hold the metal. Do not buy paper gold. Do not buy ETFs like GLD or SLV. The financial industry loves to sell you paper gold. It is convenient. It is easy to trade on your phone. But paper gold is a trap. The gold market operates on a system called fractional reserve. For every 1 ounce of physical gold sitting in a vault in London, there are estimated to be more than 100 paper claims trading on the market. It is like a parking garage that has 100 spaces, but they sold 10,000 tickets. As long as everyone leaves their car parked, the scam works. But in a Stage 6 collapse, panic sets in. Everyone runs to the garage at the same time to claim their car. And that is when they realize the garage is empty. In a crisis, the paper gold market will freeze. The price on the screen might say $3,000, but you will not be able to buy an ounce of physical metal for less than $5,000. Or maybe you cannot buy it at any price. If you cannot hold it in your hand, you do not own it. You only own a promise from a bankrupt system. And speaking of ownership, we need to talk about the dark history of confiscation. Many of you believe that America is a free country where property rights are sacred. But history tells a different story. In 1933, the United States government was bankrupt. They had printed too much paper money. So, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102. With the stroke of a pen, he made it a criminal offense for an American citizen to own gold coins or bullion. He ordered every American to turn in their wealth to the Federal Reserve. If you refused, you faced 10 years in prison. They took the gold from the people in exchange for $20 in paper money. And as soon as they had all the gold, they revalued it to $35. They stole nearly half the wealth of the population overnight to bail out the government. Why am I telling you this? Because a desperate government is a dangerous government. As we approach the 2026 debt crisis, they will look for any pool of wealth to seize. This is why privacy is just as important as the asset itself. When you build your portfolio, do not advertise it. When you buy gold, try to use cash when legal and possible. Or use reputable dealers that respect client confidentiality. Keep your metal in a safe in your own home. Or use a private non-bank vault in a jurisdiction like Singapore or Switzerland, or a private depository in a pro-freedom state like Texas. Do not put it in a safety deposit box at a bank. In a bank holiday, the doors are locked, and the contents of those boxes can be frozen by the state. Now let's talk about the poor man's gold, the asset with the highest potential upside in the entire portfolio: silver. Silver is unique. It is not just money. It is a strategic industrial metal. Gold is hoarded. It sits in vaults. Almost all the gold ever mined is still here. But silver is consumed. It is in your iPhone. It is in every solar panel. It is in the batteries of electric cars. It is in the Tomahawk missiles being fired in the Middle East. We are consuming silver faster than we can mine it. The above-ground stockpiles are draining rapidly. Historically, the ratio of gold to silver comes out of the ground at roughly 8-1. But right now, the price ratio is hovering around 80-1. This means silver is mathematically the most undervalued asset on the planet. It is priced as if it is abundant, but we are facing a structural shortage. When the manipulation of the paper market breaks, and it will break, silver has the potential to explode. It is a coiled spring. For your 2026 survival portfolio, aim for an allocation of at least 10 to 20% of your liquid net worth in physical bullion. Buy sovereign coins, American eagles, Canadian maples, Austrian philharmonics. These are recognizable worldwide. If you need to flee the country or trade with a neighbor, everyone knows what a gold eagle is worth. Avoid rare numismatic coins unless you are an expert. The premiums are too high. You want the most weight for the lowest cost. Gold is your shield. It preserves your wealth against inflation. Silver is your sword. It gives you the chance to multiply your purchasing power when the shortage hits. When the currency reset happens, you will not want digital digits on a screen that can be deleted by a hacker or frozen by a politician. You will want weight. You want assets that have zero counterparty risk. If you hold a gold coin, you do not need a bank to be open. You do not need the internet to work. You do not need the government's permission. It is simply yours. It is freedom in physical form. This is why they hate it. This is why they attack it. And this is why you must own it. But metal has a limitation. You cannot eat it, you cannot drink it, and you cannot live inside it. If the society around you crumbles, protecting your money is only step one. Step two is protecting your body and your family. You need a fortress. You need a place to stand your ground. Let's move to the second pillar of your portfolio, the asset that Bill Gates is buying up while he tells you to own nothing and be happy. Real estate. But not the kind of real estate you are thinking of. Gold is your shield. It protects your purchasing power. Silver is your sword. It helps you attack the upside. But there is a physical limitation to metal. You cannot live inside a gold coin. You cannot eat silver. And if the society around you collapses into chaos, a vault full of metal does not keep the rain off your head. To survive stage 6, you need a fortress. You need real assets. Specifically, you need productive land. Have you noticed a strange and hypocritical trend lately? The same tech billionaires who tell you to live in the metaverse and who tell you that you will own nothing and be happy are doing the exact opposite. They are engaging in the largest land grab in American history. Bill Gates is now the single largest private owner of farmland in the United States. He owns 270,000 acres across 18 states. Jeff Bezos is buying massive ranches in Texas. Mark Zuckerberg is building a $100 million compound in Hawaii. It has its own energy source, its own water supply, and rumors say it even has an underground bunker. Why? Why are the men who created the digital world rushing to buy dirt? Because they know the secret. They know that the digital world is fragile. It relies on electricity, servers, and social stability. But dirt is forever. In a hyperinflationary collapse, society reverts to a feudal structure. There are only two types of people left: the serfs and the lords. The serfs are the ones who rent. They own nothing. They are at the mercy of the landlord, the inflation, and the state. When the rent doubles because the dollar collapses, the serf is homeless. The lords are the ones who hold the title deed. For your 2026 survival portfolio, your goal is to be a lord. You must own a piece of the earth that can sustain life. Notice I said productive land. This is a critical distinction. Do not go out and buy a luxury condo in downtown San Francisco or New York City. In a social collapse, a high-rise city apartment is not an asset. It is a liability. It is a vertical prison cell. You are dependent on the grid. You are dependent on the elevator. You are dependent on water being pumped up 30 floors. And you are surrounded by millions of desperate people when the food trucks stop running. You want land that can take care of you. You need land with a natural water source, a running stream, a spring, or a high water table for a well. Water is the new oil. You need land with soil that can grow food, or timber that can be used for fuel and building. This is the ultimate hedge against the dollar. The Federal Reserve can print trillions of dollars, but they cannot print a single acre of land. They cannot print rain. They cannot print topsoil. Now, let me give you a piece of financial advice that might sound controversial, but this is the rich man's secret to inflation. In stage 6, debt can actually be your friend, but only if it is the right kind of debt. If you have a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage on your home, do not pay it off early. I repeat, do not pay it off. Let me explain the math of the robbery. If inflation hits 20% per year, but your mortgage interest is fixed at 3 or 4%, the bank is losing money, and you are winning. Inflation destroys the value of the currency, which means it destroys the value of your debt. 10 years from now, your mortgage payment might be $2,000. But because of hyperinflation, a loaf of bread might cost $100. Your mortgage payment will feel like pocket change. You will be paying back the bank with worthless confetti paper money. This is how the ultra-rich get richer during a collapse. They borrow millions to buy hard assets, like land and apartments, and then they let inflation wipe out the loan for them. They are effectively shorting the dollar. However, this strategy comes with a deadly warning. You must treat this with extreme caution. You must be able to make the monthly payments. If we enter a Great Depression and you lose your job, the bank does not care about your inflation strategy. If you miss 3 payments, they will foreclose. They will take your fortress. So the strategy is simple. Secure your primary residence. Get a fixed-rate mortgage if possible. But keep a large cash buffer, at least 6 months to a year of expenses, to ensure you never, ever default. Now let's talk about where. Location is everything. In stage 6, the United States will not look like one unified country. It will look like 50 separate countries. The federal government will lose control. Power will devolve to the states. Some states will respect property rights, self-defense, and low taxes. Other states will descend into chaos, high crime, and excessive confiscation to pay for their bankrupt pension funds. We are already seeing the Great Migration. Trillions of dollars in wealth are moving from blue states like California, New York, and Illinois to red states like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and Wyoming. This is not a coincidence. This is strategic relocation. For your survival portfolio, you need to look at the political stability of the land you are buying. Ask yourself these questions before you sign the deed. Does this state have a state income tax? Does this state respect the Second Amendment and your right to defend your fortress? Does this area have a strong local community? You want to be in a redoubt, a place where your neighbors share your values. If the grid goes down, the lone wolf fantasy is a lie. You cannot survive alone. You need to sleep eventually. You need a community. You need neighbors who will help you watch the perimeter. You need a local farmer who will trade milk for your silver coins. When buying land, look for the golden zone. This is a strategic distance from the city. You want to be at least 1 tank of gas away from a major metropolitan center. If you are too close, the zombie hordes, the desperate masses from the collapsing cities, will reach your door within the first week of the crisis. If you are too far, deep in the mountains, you are isolated from medical care and supplies. Find that sweet spot, far enough to be safe, but close enough to function. If you cannot afford a farm, buy a small cabin. If you cannot afford a cabin, buy a plot of raw land and put a camper on it. Just get your name on a title deed in a free state. When the dust settles and the dollar is replaced by whatever comes next, you will still be standing on your own soil. You will have a roof over your head. You will have food growing in your garden. And you will have a legacy to pass down to your children. But owning a fortress is not enough. You have to be able to operate it when the systems fail. A house without electricity is just a dark box. A farm without tools is just a field of weeds. We have covered money. We have covered land. Now we must cover the chaos. Let's move to the third pillar,
The ugly, gritty, unglamorous items that will be worth more than gold when the trucks stop moving.
We have secured your wealth with gold. We have secured your shelter with land. But we have a major problem, a tactical problem. If the financial system crashes on a Tuesday, you cannot walk into a grocery store on Wednesday and pay for a loaf of bread with a 1-ounce gold coin. It is too valuable. It is too clumsy. The cashier will not know what it is. And in the initial chaos of stage 6, nobody will want your digital dollars. The credit card machines will be dark. The ATMs will be empty. This brings us to the third pillar of your portfolio, the chaos hedge. These are the ugly, unglamorous, gritty assets that Wall Street will never tell you to buy. Your financial advisor does not earn a commission on them. But when the supply chains break, these items will outperform Bitcoin, stocks, and real estate combined. In a collapse scenario, we revert to a barter economy. And in a barter economy, value is not determined by market cap. Value is determined by utility. Can I eat it? Can I shoot it? Can I use it to stay warm? Here is your detailed shopping list for the chaos hedge. Get a pen and paper. Item number 1, the ultimate currency of the collapse, lead. In a polite society, we call it ammunition. In a lawless society, it is money. Even if you do not own a firearm, which I highly recommend you do, you should stockpile standard calibers. Focus on the NATO standards, 9mm, 5.56, and 12-gauge shotgun shells. Why these three? Because in America, these are ubiquitous. Everyone has a gun that shoots these rounds. If you are starving, and your neighbor has extra chickens but needs to defend his perimeter, a box of 5.56 is worth more to him than a stack of $100 bills. Ammo is small. It is durable. It never expires if kept dry. And historically, it holds its value better than the Swiss franc. Item number 2, energy independence. The power grid is the Achilles heel of the United States. It is old, it is fragile, and it is completely vulnerable to cyber attacks from foreign adversaries. When the lights go out, civilized society breaks down in exactly 72 hours. That is 3 days. Do not rely on a gas generator. Why? Because gas has a shelf life. It degrades after 6 months, and in a crisis, the gas stations will be pumped dry in the first afternoon. You need a solar generator. Brands like Bluetti or EcoFlow. Get a system with at least 2,000 watt-hours of capacity and portable solar panels. This allows you to keep your freezer running so your meat does not spoil. It allows you to charge your flashlights and your radios. It is silent energy. A loud gas generator tells every looter within 5 miles exactly where you are. Solar is quiet. Solar is stealth. Item number 3, water filtration. Most people who die in a disaster do not die from starvation. They die from dysentery. They die from drinking bad water. You can survive 3 weeks without food. You cannot survive 3 days without water. Do not rely on cases of bottled water from Costco. They take up too much space and they run out. You need the ability to turn pond water, pool water, or rainwater into safe drinking water for years. You need a gravity-fed filter system, like a Berkey or a Pro 1. These filters remove bacteria, viruses, and heavy metals. Buy extra replacement filters. A pair of black filters can purify 6,000 gallons of water. That is financial freedom. That is life assurance. Item number 4, medicine. This is the one that keeps me up at night. We learned in 2020 just how fragile our medical supply chain is. Did you know that more than 90% of our antibiotics are manufactured in China and India? In a geopolitical conflict with China, those shipments stop overnight. A simple infection from a cut on your finger, which is easily treatable today with a $5 pill, could be a death sentence in 2026.
You need to become your own pharmacy. Stockpile a 1-year supply of your daily prescriptions. Talk to your doctor. Tell them you are traveling. Do whatever you have to do to get ahead of the refill curve. And look into legitimate services that sell emergency antibiotic kits. You need amoxicillin, ciprofloxacin, and doxycycline. Put them in a cool, dark place. They last for years. Item number 5. The vice economy. Alcohol, coffee, tobacco. You might not drink, you might not smoke, but millions of addicted Americans do. In the siege of Sarajevo, or the collapse of the Soviet Union, or the crisis in Venezuela, tiny bottles of vodka and packs of cigarettes became the standard unit of trade. People will give up their silver ring for a bottle of whiskey when they are desperate. Stockpile cheap, high-proof alcohol. It is a trade good. It is a painkiller. And it is a disinfectant. It is the ultimate multi-purpose asset. Buy bags of green coffee beans. They last longer than roasted beans. Coffee is the fuel of the American workforce. When the Starbucks closes, your bag of coffee becomes a gold mine. Item number 6. Communications. Information is power. When the cell towers go down, or when the government shuts off the internet to control misinformation, you are blind and deaf. You need a way to listen. Buy a Baofeng radio. They cost $25. Learn the local emergency frequencies. If you know where the food drops are, you can get there first. If you know where the riots are moving, you can evacuate in the opposite direction. And finally, the asset that cannot be stolen, confiscated, or taxed. Skills. In the consumer economy, we have become soft. We pay other people to do everything for us. We pay people to fix our cars. We pay people to grow our food. We pay people to protect us. In stage 6, help is not coming. 911 will go to a busy signal. You need to become dangerous. And you need to become useful.
Learn how to repair a small engine. Learn how to suture a deep wound. Learn how to grow potatoes. Learn how to purify water with bleach. These skills are weightless. You carry them in your head. In a survival scenario, the man who knows how to fix the solar panels is more valuable than the man who used to be a hedge fund manager. This creates a complete survival ecosystem. Gold preserves your purchasing power for the rebuilding phase. Land gives you a base of operations. And the chaos hedge keeps you alive during the transition. But there is one final piece of the puzzle, the biggest piece. You have spent a lifetime building your 401k and your IRA. Millions of Americans have their entire life savings trapped inside these government-regulated accounts. It is a massive pile of paper money. If the market crashes, you lose. If the government nationalizes retirement accounts to pay the debt, you lose. How do you get your money out of the burning building without paying a massive tax penalty? How do you move your retirement from paper to fortress? Let's move to the final pillar, the exit strategy. Now we arrive at the final and most critical part of your survival plan. We have built a shield of gold. We have built a fortress of land. We have prepared for the chaos with supplies. But there is still one massive vulnerability left exposed. And for most of you watching this, it represents the bulk of your life's work, your retirement account, the exit strategy. Most of you have spent 40 years playing by the rules. You went to work. You contributed to your 401k. You put money into your IRA. You trusted the system to keep its promises. But here is the terrifying reality of stage 6. Your retirement account is a honeypot. It is a large, immobile, highly visible pile of cash that the government can see, touch, and regulate with a single mouse click. When the sovereign debt crisis spirals out of control, history shows us exactly what bankrupt governments do. They do not cut their own spending. They do not fire bureaucrats. They seize assets. They look for the largest pool of savings available, and they nationalize it. It happened in Argentina in 2008. The government seized $30 billion of private pension funds to pay their debts. It happened in Poland in 2014. They seized half of the private pension bonds. Do not think it cannot happen here. In a crisis, they will call it a patriot tax, or they will call it mandatory government bond conversion. They will tell you it is for your own safety. They will force your 401k to buy worthless US Treasury bonds to bail out the system. If your wealth is trapped in a system you cannot control, it is not your wealth. It is their liquidity. So, how do you escape the honeypot before the trap snaps shut? You must explore the legal loopholes that still exist to take possession of your retirement. If you have a 401k from a previous employer, or if you have a traditional IRA, you are not stuck in the stock market casino. You can legally roll that paper money into physical hard assets. It is called a self-directed gold IRA. This is the escape tunnel. This mechanism allows you to take your money out of the vulnerable banking system and lock it into physical bars of gold and silver. The metal is stored in a private insured vault in your name, but you keep the tax-advantaged status of the IRA. I cannot give you specific financial advice. I am not your accountant. You need to do your own due diligence, but I will tell you this from a strategic perspective. If my life savings were sitting in a target date mutual fund right now, composed of 60% overvalued stocks and 40% failing government bonds, I would not sleep at night. I would be looking for the exit door, immediately. Because the window to escape is closing, and the ultimate control grid is being built right now. This brings us to the final threat, the threat that makes everything else look small, the CBDC. Central bank digital currency. The Federal Reserve has already launched the infrastructure. It is called FedNow. They will sell it to you as an upgrade. They will tell you it is convenient. They will tell you it is safe. They will tell you it stops drug dealers and terrorists. They are lying. CBDC is not money. It is a control grid. It is surveillance disguised as currency. Right now, if you go to a gun show and buy a rifle with cash, nobody knows. If you give $50 to a neighbor to help him out, nobody knows. Cash is privacy. Cash is freedom. With a CBDC, every single transaction you make is recorded on a central ledger controlled by the Federal Reserve. They will know what you eat. They will know where you travel. They will know what magazines you subscribe to. They will know who you support politically. And they can link this data to a social credit score. We have already seen this nightmare in China. If your score drops too low, you cannot buy a plane ticket. You cannot get a loan. Your internet speed is throttled. But in stage 6, the American government will use this tool to enforce economic martial law. Imagine programmable money. Imagine if the government decides that you have already bought your limit of meat for the month to meet climate goals. When you try to buy a steak, your digital wallet simply says, declined. Imagine negative interest rates. To stop you from saving and force you to stimulate the economy, they could program your money to rot. If you do not spend your paycheck within 30 days, it disappears. Or it loses 1% of its value every week. This destroys the very concept of savings. It turns you into a hamster on a wheel, running forever just to stay alive. Imagine if they decide to block you from buying gold, or ammunition, or seeds. Access denied. This is not science fiction. This technology exists today. It is being tested today. When they launch the CBDC, the exit doors will slam shut. You will not be able to buy gold anonymously anymore. You will not be able to move your money offshore. You will be trapped in the digital prison. This is why the 2026 survival portfolio is so urgent. You are not just buying assets, you are buying your freedom. You are buying the ability to say no. When they demand your compliance in exchange for food, you will have your own food growing on your land. When they turn off your digital wallet because of your political views, you will have silver coins to trade with your neighbors. When they try to trap you in the 15-minute cities, you will have a fortress in the country with its own energy and water. Getting out of the banking system is not just a financial decision, it is a moral duty. By moving your wealth into gold, land, and tangible goods, you are voting against the system. You are removing your energy from the beast. Let's recap what we have built today. This is your battle plan. Number 1. We have moved out of the dying dollar and into God's money. Physical gold and silver. This is your shield against inflation. Number 2. We have moved out of paper promises and into real assets, productive land, and a fortress outside the city. This is your base of operations. Number 3. We have prepared for the chaos with the assets of utility: lead, energy, water, and medicine. This keeps you alive when the grid fails. Number 4. We have executed the exit strategy for your retirement accounts, moving them away from government seizure and into hard assets. The storm is coming. The math is inevitable. The debt cannot be paid. The currency must die. But you do not have to be a victim. Most people will freeze. They will wait for the news to tell them what to do. And by the time the news tells the truth, the shelves will be empty and the banks will be closed. But you are not most people. You are watching Fiscal Folklore. You are the captain of your own lifeboat. While the rest of the world is distracted by TikTok trends and political theater, you are taking action. You are becoming anti-fragile. The time to build your ark is before the rain starts, and I believe I can feel the first drops of rain falling right now. The window is still open, but it is closing fast. If you found value in this briefing, and if you want to know the truth that the mainstream media hides, you know what to do. Do not just watch. Join us. Subscribe to the channel right now. Turn on the notifications. Share this video with the one person in your family who needs to wake up. We are building a community of survivors. We are building a resistance against the robbery. My name is the Sage, and this is Fiscal Folklore, where history holds the real answers. Prepare accordingly.